Welcome to another weekly update, a slightly different one this time around. I'm going to try something ever so slightly different, and that is doing it live, because, I don't know, just a little bit more time this week, putting aside a little bit of time to make this happen. More things to say, and I just wanted to go into detail on a couple of other things that have been happening as well. So it's probably going to go a little bit longer than normal. If you normally watch this on LinkedIn, in fact, if you are watching this on LinkedIn, just kind of be aware that it's going to cut off at the 10-minute mark, because that's how LinkedIn works. You can only see the first 10 minutes. So if you're still watching 10 minutes in and you want to carry on, you should head over to YouTube and watch it there. So thoughtstuff.co.uk/video. Doing this live means a couple of things. It means I can show you some stuff on the screen as well, which might be interesting as we talk through some of the things that are new this week. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a go. I might not be how we do it every week, but yeah, it means I can do cool stuff as well on the screen as well. I should have done that at the start, really, shouldn't I? Never mind, we're doing it now. The old lower third. Anyway. So, I should talk a bit about what's going on with my backdrop, because I've done a couple of different videos and the backdrop keeps changing. So, we've moved around a couple of the rooms in the house, and this is my new study, which I'm very fortunate to have. So, my wife and family have kindly moved things around in the house to give me this room, which is lovely. It's still being worked out. I still kind of need to work out what goes where. I keep forgetting all the setup. There we go, backlights. Everything, as you can see, is still kind of a mess behind me. Move out the way, you can see all that. Hopefully over the coming weeks, you'll see it kind of settle into position. I've got some kind of nice ideas for things I want to try to kind of display some stuff, and maybe put a TV back there as well, so I can kind of show stuff on the screen and just basically improve some of the videos I'm doing. So that's kind of the idea. I've got looking at some expensive equipment as well. That's always a fun thing to do, right? I can spend thousands just in my head. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But see how it evolves over the weeks. Let me know in the feedback if what you think about any of the changes as you see them coming. Any changes that you might see kind of evolving over time. Also, because it is Friday, and it's been a really hot day today in the UK. Temperatures, certainly where I am, have been kind of 30 degrees. That's 85 Fahrenheit, I think. So yeah, it's been really hot, really sunny. It's Friday afternoon. It's been kind of a pretty busy, crazy week, so I feel a bit justified in doing this. Yep, that's what I'm doing. So this should be interesting, actually. This is a double dry hopped. I can't see my vanity feed. Hang on. This is a double dry hopped New England IPA. It's kind of really, really commonly available in the UK at the moment. It's in one of the big supermarkets, so I just haven't got around to trying it. So, cheers. Anyway, that is nice. Anyway, let's talk about what's happening this week. All right, so Microsoft Dataflex. Talked about it last week, did a blog post about it last week, and we've had a bit more information come to light in the past kind of few days, over the past week, and so I did another video and another blog post just to talk about it a little bit, just because there's just fleshed out a little bit of detail really about it. So it's interesting. What I didn't expect to see from the initial announcements, but which you can now see in screenshots, and you can see in the video I did. And let me just show you my screen. Yeah, so this is the blog post I did, and this is the video you can go through and watch. What's really interesting, though, are some of the images showing you how it's going to look. It's going to be apps in Teams. There's going to be an actual app in Microsoft Teams for doing Power Apps, and another app in Microsoft Teams for doing Power Virtual Agents. So you don't need to go to the website to do it. You can do it as an app in Microsoft Teams. That's kind of a real change. That's really interesting. It brings developers into Microsoft Teams as the place they actually do their authoring of applications. That's huge. But also, it makes more sense now about how Dataflex will be available inside Microsoft Teams, because that's kind of what we're saying. Like inside Teams, yes, but inside Power Apps, inside Teams, right? So I don't know yet. It's not completely clear to me whether that means that you'll only be able to use Dataflex inside those Power Apps and Power Virtual Agents that you build inside Teams. I think probably that is going to be the case. I think it's going to be restricted to, yep, you can use Dataflex inside Microsoft Teams as this relational database that we're all so excited about, not just SharePoint lists, but tables and columns and relationships. Yep, you can do that inside Microsoft Teams with this Microsoft Teams store, but you have to do it with Power Apps. You have to be using Power Apps to do it. Don't know if that's definitely true. That's how it feels to me at the moment. So, yeah, interesting. So I did that blog post, did that video. So that's kind of the big news, I think, from this week. The other big thing about that is the timelines. So, timelines on this, it's going to start rolling out mid-August. And it's going to be available to everyone by the end of August. So pretty aggressive timeline from announcing it about a week ago to rolling it out in about 2 weeks' time to having it done in 4 weeks' time. So really exciting that we won't have to wait ages to see this. It's really come out of nowhere. I guess they've been working on this Teams app for a while, but kind of quietly. So exciting to see. Other piece of information that came out this week is around sending proactive bot messages. So this is all about, it's quite hard to send proactive bot messages in Teams. And the reason it's hard is it's because Teams, the way you send messages in Teams is built on Bot Framework. So Bot Framework is the abstraction by which you build your bots in Microsoft Teams. And Bot Framework is, it means that you write against the Bot Framework and then you don't have to worry about the implementation details of all the other different services, such as Microsoft Teams, but also Skype for Business, also like Slack or Twilio or email, or all these other things, right? You can just build it once against the Bot Framework and then just enable these different channels. And that's really powerful and it's great for developers. But the flip side with that is that if you do it like that, then really proactive messaging doesn't make a lot of sense for most workloads. So imagine if you'd written a bot and it could proactively message users, reach out to users that had never spoken to the bot before. And you can enable this as a channel on Facebook Messenger. So immediately you can see why that's a bad idea, right? Because you're going to have like all these spam bots everywhere proactively messaging everybody all of the time. Facebook Messenger is never going to let you do that. There's just a million reasons why proactive messaging doesn't make sense to almost every workload apart from something like Skype for Business or Microsoft Teams, where it kind of does make sense because that's a gated community with an IT admin that's in control of the messages. And if the IT admin decides, I want to proactively message these users, then it's not really spammy and it's not really a breach of privacy. It's how stuff gets delivered, right? So this is a weird, it's not a weird edge case, you know what I'm trying to say? Like this is specific to Teams and Skype and these other domain kind of gated communities. So it's always been a bit hard to do in the Bot Framework. There've been some kind of weird workarounds where if the user installs the app, then the app gets to know about the user, and then by virtue of that, that gives you everything you need then to go and message the user. But of course the user needs to have installed the app. So how do you get around that problem? Well, you could add the app to what am I trying to say? You could add the app to a team or a channel that has all the members in them. You could automatically add members to a channel, so you can kind of come up with this kind of slightly hooky kind of situation where you force add all these users into a channel where you've also got the bot, and then the bot can look at the member list and get all the users from that. but it's not a great experience for the users because they're getting like pushed around, they're getting auto added to these crazy places, and it's just not great, right? So yeah, there's not been, the only other thing you can do really is potentially give your application like really big wide permissions to go and add itself everywhere, and go and find all the users and like add itself to every channel and get all the users that way. And again, like it's doable, but like you've got to try and get that through IT admins. It's not a great experience really. So there hasn't really been a good way of doing it. This came out this week, and I did a blog post about it. And really, the new thing here are these new permission sets. So there's these new permissions that you can now give to an application. And what it says is, you application, you have permission to add yourself to a user or to a team. So for a user as an installed app, or to a team as an installed app in the team. But that permission is scoped to just you. Like it's not a site-wide permission to do what you want and add any apps anywhere. It is just for this app. So it's a really narrow scope permission that is not going to upset your IT admins and your permissions people, because it is scoped just to self. And that's really interesting because now those methods of just going and finding users and adding your application for them, that's totally doable now because you don't need a massively wide permission set. You can do it just scope to the permission and it's a really nice user experience. The user just gets the app added exactly as they need it straight away. So that's really quite nice. I think this is really good to see because by scoping the permissions like this, it really helps app developers get their stuff approved by IT admins. And that's always been a bit of a stumbling block in lots of organizations where you've got, you built an app either internally, but also mostly externally, but this happens internally as well. You've built an app, it's really good, it does all these cool things, but you can't get the permissions approved for it because they're too big. The permissions you need to do the stuff are just too onerous. So I think this is cool. This is really good to see. It's really good to see Microsoft introducing some more scoped permissions here. So yeah, I think this is nice. I think this is good to see. What else to talk about? Okay, so today is July 31st. What does that mean? It means it is exactly 1 year until Skype for Business Online will be retired and turned off. So you've got a year. If you're still on Skype for Business Online, you need to get off it in the next year because they're turning it off in 12 months' time. So I've talked about this lots before. Obviously, there are some impacts to developers. Actually, the development surface for Skype for Business Online was never huge. It's not like Skype for Business on premises, which isn't going anywhere. That's a fairly rich development experience, and that's staying exactly as it is. This is just the online one. So, I'm going to call out this particular blog post. It's part of the tech community, and it's just a reminder really that you've got 12 months, the clock is ticking, but there's loads of support for you. There's the training, there's the workshops, there's the guidance, there's the Office, the 365 Message Center kind of prodding and pushing you into moving over to Teams. This is your reminder post basically. It'll be interesting to see whether they do one every month now, or whether this is it now, and they'll maybe do it at the 6th month, and then that's it, or whether they're just going to make this a monthly drumbeat. Who knows, right? But it's it's just interesting to see that. Interesting to see that happen, I think. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about this week. It's been a busy week. The other thing I'm not going to put out this week, but I'm going to tell you happened anyway. So a few things. So last week I did a talking stuff segment with Lindsay, where we just chatted through soft skills stuff, and I found it really useful. We talked about why working at home is hard sometimes, why working during a lockdown is particularly hard, why it's not the same as just regular working from home. We talked through a bunch of stuff. it was like free therapy for me. It was quite good fun. So we talked through all of that. I put that out as a blog post, but also a podcast, because it's mostly just talking heads. And yeah, so that we did that. I did another one of those this week. I haven't put it out this week. I'll put it out next week. But this time we talked through something slightly different. Kind of talking through why development is hard and IT is hard, and it's hard. It's exhausting sometimes because you feel like you're never done, and there's always one more thing to do, and there's always something else to fix, and there's always another version to go and work on, and it's never done in the same way that some other things are done. And I wonder, like, we talked through that and how you can deal with that, and coping strategies, and just ways to succeed. And yeah, it was interesting. And I wonder if that's why so many developers I know have hobbies that you can draw a line under and say, I did that. So I know people that, I don't know, do jigsaws, right? So do a jigsaw, finish a jigsaw, you're done with a jigsaw. Like, you're done. Tick it off the list. Done. People who paint models and build models of things, again, it's a very defined, boxed, you're done. DIY, kind of the same. Gardening, the same. Like, I think a lot of developers, a lot of IT people have these boxable hobbies, and I wonder if that's the reason why. Just interesting. So yeah, we talked about that quite a lot, so I'm going to do that, put that out next week, so you can look out for that. Also, I did a training presentation that is not live yet, so I don't think I can talk about it, but look out for it next week. There's a really, really good lineup of I think half a dozen people in the Teams world, kind of talking through different parts of Microsoft Teams. And I covered off the development side of things, all the things you can do building around Microsoft Teams. So look out for that if that sounds interesting as well. Yeah, that's coming next week. So, all right. I think that's me done for this week. Yeah, I'm going to sign off. Have a really good weekend, whatever it is you're doing. If the weather is amazing like it is here, then enjoy it. If it's not, sorry about that. Stay inside. But yeah, whatever it is you're doing, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again next time. Now I just have to work out how to end this live stream, because let me know how you thought this went, actually. Is it better that I ramble and waffle and it takes 20 minutes to say the same thing? Or is it better that I'm a bit crisper and keep it to 10 minutes? Do you care about the waffling? Do you like it being live and straight to YouTube? Is that worse? Is that better? I don't know. I'm just trying out different things. I'm trying out different equipment as well. So I'm going to kind of keep changing my equipment up. Normally when I do the weekly updates, they're pre-records and I do them on my phone with like a Rode external mic. And then I take it straight away. I take it straight up to YouTube and then get it out kind of as quick. So they're kind of near live because they're one takes. And all I'm doing is I just record it to my phone and then upload it straight to YouTube. This one I'm doing slightly differently because I'm doing it straight live to YouTube, which I quite like doing actually. Thinking about it, I don't mind it at all. It's quite good fun, and it keeps the pressure on, kind of knowing it's live. Yeah. So I might keep doing that, but obviously the audio and video kit is different. It should be okay. In fact, I think it should be better than you're used to. It should be slightly clearer and the audio should be better. But if that's not the case, do shout at me. And I'm trying lots of different things as well. If I can, I will improve the camera setup. And I'm kind of waiting for the room to sort itself out as well. We've got a load of things to move around and put in other places, and then I need to get some storage units and build that out. I think I'm going to try and get something to cover this up because, like, in all the video calls I've been doing this week, I've kind of noticed how obvious it is that this is a radiator. So I guess that's obvious. Like, it depends where you come from in the world, right? I don't think this is not something you see in America very often. So the way it works in most of Europe, I think, is that we heat hot water and then we pump the hot water around the house, and then we have these big radiators, they're called, because they radiate the heat, and the water flows through the inside of the radiators and the heat dissipates and heats the room. So it's not like HVAC where you sort of blow air through. It's done by radiation, hence them being called radiators. but they're not the most visually aesthetic items. And you can get covers for them. So I might get a wooden cover for this one because it means I can put things on it as well and they can be in shot. So maybe I'll do that. And then I've got some ideas for the back wall behind me, TV, and then maybe some other, like a console table underneath to put things on. But we'll see. We'll see how it kind of how it happens. Yeah. I'm also interested, actually, if anyone knows. So if I put a TV on the wall behind me, I need some kind of setup where sometimes, like obviously most of the time, I want to do conference calls sitting at my desk where I am right now, looking at you in the camera. This is my setup for work. This is my setup for conference calls, and that makes sense. But sometimes, like if I'm just listening or I'm occasionally contributing, I kind of want to just put it on a big TV behind me and go and sit. There's a sofa right here. You can't see it. It's out of shot. And in fact, let me see if I can't zoom out a little bit on this camera because this is an amazing camera. This is the Hudley IQ, and it's meant for kind of conference rooms. But I can zoom all the way out, and now you can see the whole room, which is kind of cool. There's a sofa, right? So sometimes I want to sit on the sofa, and if it's a conference call or a training session or something like that, and I just want to look at the TV, but I still want to be at a Teams call, so I still want to be present at the Teams call. So how do people do that? Do you just sign in again on a different device? Should I get a conference cam to go above it? Like, what should I be looking at? How should that work? So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you're doing this. Like, what's a good setup for how all that stuff works? Yeah, let me know. All right, I am going to go now. That's definitely enough waffling. I like almost ended the stream and then waffled for another 5-10 minutes. I'm going to drink the rest of this beer. It's really nice. I recommend it. Maybe I'll try bringing a beer to every weekly update. It could be fun. All right. Again, whatever it is you're doing, have a great one. And I will talk to you again next time. Thanks for watching.